Good morning, creative writing. I hope you guys are doing well, staying healthy, staying safe. I still look forward again to seeing you guys hopefully very soon. But until then, we are going to continue the screencasts and our virtual learning. Remember, dual credit students, this does count for a grade. So please be sure that you are submitting your assignments on time because I will be submitting grades to State Fair for your dual credit. Overview of the assignments for this week. Once again, you're going to have your free writes for attendance. Now, this is only a 4-day week due to Easter coming up. You already had scheduled to have Friday off, so I only have 4 free writes in here, 1 for each day. As before, you can go ahead and do them all now, put them in your live binder, and those will count for your attendance points for this week. If you want to do 1 a day, that's perfectly fine too. However you want to approach it is fine. Just make sure that they are in your live binder under your free writes by Thursday, April 9th at 2 p.m. The other assignment for this week, continuing on with your projects, we are going on with your children's story. Now your story pitches were due Friday at 2 I'm going to go through those and get you guys feedback by the end of the day today, so you guys can use that feedback to help you develop your children's story. I have the actual assignment is in here for you guys. Now this has been altered. I went ahead and I left the previous assignment just to, I want to make sure all documents are in there for you guys to see. But this is the revised children's story assignment. And we did revise it due to we are now a week behind. And we're obviously not going to be able to go to the elementary to share our stories anymore, so there is no sense in going through the story jumper part of the assignment. So you will simply write your children's story. You will not be illustrating. So with that in mind, when I talked to you guys before, we talked about how your illustrations could add to your story. We're no longer going to have that convenience, so now your story needs to stand by itself without any illustrations. So overview of the assignment. Your children's story is to write a 2 to 3 page, double-spaced, 12-point font, 1-inch margins children's story. The rubric that I'm going to use is right here for you guys, and I'll open that up for you guys in just a minute. It will only be used for grading the final draft if you choose to revise this assignment. Now, I originally said that this had to be one of your final drafts, but that's not going to be the case anymore since we've had to change some things due to the virtual schooling. So now if you want to make this one of your 3 revisions, you can at the end, and this is the scoring guide that I'll be using. The rough draft itself is due this Thursday at 2 It is worth 50 points just for a complete effort. It is 2 to 3 pages. It is in the correct format. It is a children's story. Okay, so those are basically the 3 criteria, that I look for to give you guys the 50 completion points. The rough draft is due in your live binder by Thursday, April 9th at 2 p.m. And I will provide feedback to you guys based on your rough draft, and you can use this feedback to help you if you decide you want to revise this project for one of your 3 final products at the end. So ultimately, you're going to write the story in a Google Doc. You're going to create a main tab in your live binder titled Children's Story, and you're going to place this assignment in a sub-tab under the main tab, and the sub-tab should be titled Rough Draft. And I will show you guys this is what it should look like. In your live binder, you should have a main tab entitled Children's Story, and then under that main tab, you should have a Rough Draft tab, and then you will eventually, if you decide you want to do a final draft of this, you will have a Final Draft tab. So that is what your live binder should look like when you submit this to me. One other thing you need to be sure you do is be sure to share the Google Doc with me so I can make comments, so I can see it, and give you guys those completion points. As always, guys, please let me know if you have any questions. I will be on Zoom 10 to 10:30 every day, or send me an email at any time, and I will get back to you guys as soon as I can. This is your revised assignment. Remember your target audience is 1st through 2nd grades, so think about topics that are appropriate for that age group. These are the things that I'll be looking for if you guys decide to do this for a final draft at the end. And this is what I'll be basing my comments off of for you guys for your rough draft. You need to make sure your story has an exposition. You're introducing your characters and you're introducing your setting. To get the top points, you need to make sure it's a captivating way. So the difference between the second top to the top is it's captivating. It makes me want to keep reading. You do a good job of quickly introducing your characters and your setting. The rising action. Guys, for the rising action, you need to introduce at least 2 possible solutions to the problem that do not effectively solve the problem. Okay, so you have a problem, you need to try some things that don't work, because a lot of times we learn from our mistakes. That's what you need to show the children at this point. So 2 possible solutions that do not effectively solve the problem. For the climax, that's when you're going to have the solution to the problem that actually does solve it. Okay? And then in your falling action, what I'm looking for on that is that you're going to demonstrate how the effective resolution, or how the effective solution, solves the problem. So you're going to see, okay, so the climax was your effective solution. Now, after that effective solution takes place, what happens? How does your story come to a close? And then your resolution is your final conclusion or your lesson that you show at the end. There is no need for a sequel. Now, I know there's a lot of children's stories that do have sequels, and that's fine, but typically they're going to kind of be separate from each other. They will stand alone from each other. So don't leave it open for an obvious part 2. Character development is important. Make sure your character is age appropriate and acts according to that age. If your target audience is 1st or 2nd graders, typically your main character is a 1st or 2nd grader, him or herself. And make sure that that character learns from the conflict in some way. There should be no grammar or spelling errors in this, and make sure your topic is appropriate for your audience. Okay, so that is, I'm not going to use this scoring guide for your rough draft, but if you decide to go back, those are some things you need to think about as you're building this story and you want to use this story for for one of your final projects. Okay, the other thing I have in here is your paper format in Google Docs. Guys, if you all want to make a copy of this, that's perfectly fine. You can make a copy and use this for yourself, and type it is already formatted directly for you, but this is the way that it needs to look in your live binder. Be sure that you share it with me. That is critical, or else I cannot see it. So that is basically it for this week. So kind of overview, goals for this week. You have 4 free writes, and you have a children's story to write a rough draft. So please let me know, guys, if you have any questions. I will be on Zoom every day. And I hope you guys have a great week if I don't see you. So stay healthy and stay safe.